Hey guys, I want to show you a rather crude, unprofessionally produced video of my planning board that'll take you hopefully through another level of how to create with your creative team a way that you can organize and get yourself a little bit ahead of the curve in sermon planning, creating and planning ahead for your Sunday gatherings too as well. Now, one-man banding here with my trusty iPhone doing all the camera work. I want to take and dive in and show you a little bit of the process. Now, you don't have to have a fancy board like this to do what I'm doing, but I kind of want to show you first a little bit of my process, and then I want to dive in a little bit and show you how you can use a space like this to kind of plan ahead. And even if you don't have a board, how you can divide and compartmentalize your weeks to segment out and plan ahead. Right now, this space that I've got set up is on what I call a 6-week arc. Ideally, you can get yourself out on a 14-week arc to where you're planning ahead your messages 14 weeks ahead. But this is going to get us on what I call a 6-week arc. But first, let me switch the camera around and let's dive right in here. So I've got basically a semi-transparent kind of board. It's not necessary, but I like it. I like it better than whiteboards. The way that I've got it segmented off, I just got green gaff tape. Green gaff tape, if you ever go out touring or anything, you'll see that lots. As soon as you get off of a tour bus, you'll see green gaff tape, and I've just always used that, seen that, so I use that to segment off my board. You can use almost any type of gaff tape or anything to put on your board, but whatever works for you. You'll also notice that I use a lot of different types of sticky notes. I use different color sticky notes and big sticky notes too as well. So up here in this corner is basically my main whiteboard, if you would. So that's where I write down all kinds of stuff up here in this area. Over here, you'll notice that I've got some things. I've got, for me doing songs, these are my brand new songs, and these are my new songs. I've got a whole other segment that I'll give you later on how to do your song cycle. Up here are things that are kind of on my radar. These are things that I want to be doing here in the next little bit. Down here are things kind of for web, social, and blog. Down here I keep my mission statement, our mission statement for the website, or not for the website, but for the church itself. And I kind of keep that at the forefront. I figure if we're pointing everything that I do here back to that, then we're on good grounds. This is my to-do, kind of things that are to do. You notice everything is on sticky pads. That way I can move those in and out without having to do a lot of dry erase stuff. And these are the things that, as you see, it says vital to do this week, big rocks. So these are the things that'll switch out fairly commonly. This is for song set. This is this week. That's a call to worship. That's for a worship set. Song during offering, a reflective response song, and then a parting song. So this is the piece de resistance. This is how I do our flow for creative. So you'll notice all of these are just big, huge sticky pads, and on there's different sticky notes. I'll show you first a little bit of what some of the color coding deals with. Right now you don't see anything except for big yellow sticky pads, but there are also blue. The blue ones, if you ever see a big blue instead of a big yellow one, those are going to indicate a special event like Easter, usually Christmas Eve or Christmas. Those are going to be what those are for. So those are kind of the big ones to look out for. I don't have anything 6 weeks out just right now. But also over here, I've got a little legend. You'll notice I've got brand new songs, new songs. These are my old quote-unquote song bank. But over here, I've got my legend. So the color coding, this is for a related event. Let me give you an example. For this week, we've got a baptism meeting today. We've got an evening of prayer that happens tonight. So that's a related event related to this Sunday. A service element for this is something that's related to the service itself. So it's usually something that's a point maybe that's within the message. There's a point that we were going to seek Him, we're going to listen and follow, trust Him. Those are points within the message. So that's a service type element. Communicating, that means who's going to teach that week. That's important to know because maybe someone's got a different teaching style, or maybe I need to be communicating with them if I want to know more about the message. If it's song related, it's under a purple You can do these yourself differently. So, for instance, on this week, right now as we speak, the GSM, which is our Grace Student Ministry, they're rehearsing for February the 4th, which is this week. So that song related, if it's a particular song or a particular person or something, or a song that we want to talk about doing, it's going to go on there in that color. And then a special element, that's going to be in this color. So special element we see here, right over here on the same week the GSM is leading, we've got video vignettes they're going to be doing for Next Gen volunteers, homeless initiatives over here, GLS promo here. So those are kind of special things there, and that's what my color coding is for. It helps me to look at a glance and know what things are for. So here's how we put this all together. My weeks go backwards here, so let's go all the way back 6 weeks out. When you have your creative team, we want to be able to do something at this point 6 weeks out, but you can go all the way back to 14 weeks out. So perhaps maybe even 14 weeks out, or in this case you can go 7 weeks out and say, okay, creative team, here's what's going to happen. And you grab your, let's say this week, you grab your yellow sticky pad note and you're going to put your sermon title on there, and it's called Going Vertical. And that's going to be week 1. It's going to be the first of the series, and put the date of it, 1/14/18. And perhaps this one is 7 weeks out, all the way over here past this note. And we're going to say, okay, we don't know anything about it except we know that Pastor Marty's going to be teaching, and it's going to be on the importance of direction. It's going to be talking about vision. That's the theme of it. So maybe you ask your creative team to start kind of throwing everything at this. What do graphics look like for Going Vertical? Be praying about that. What does it look like for graphics? What kind of videos do we need for bumpers? What do we think the stage needs to look like for that? You start thinking about that, and if there are any other things that need to be put up here for service elements, for special elements, what songs are we thinking about? Those maybe get put up here as we think about it, and then we kind of remove those as they don't fit, put them up there as they do fit. As we come up on our timeline, that's when these things start coming in handy. 6 weeks out, your graphics first drafts are due. Now let me go back and say this. Most churches that I know of, the problem is we live off of this on the This Week radar, don't we? We're saying, okay, everything that happens in this church happens right here. Sunday is our gathering, and we're getting everything ready on when? Saturday night, right? Or Thursday. We want to be able to prepare ourselves back 6 weeks. So the stuff that we're doing way down there on that Sunday, we're already preparing here. So the graphics first drafts are going to be due 6 weeks out. If there's a video to do, we want to start doing that 6 weeks out. The worship set for way down there is being drafted 6 weeks out. We're discussing what songs are going to be the best for that set 6 weeks out. Now 5 weeks out, we're moving this over. So in essence, this post-it note has made a journey from here all the way at 7 weeks out to 6 weeks, now to 5 weeks out. And at 5 weeks out, the video first draft is due. Here it began editing, now the video first draft is due. Now any graphics revisions are due. Over here the first draft was due. Now over here we said, nah, that graphic, we really need a revision on that graphics art for Going Vertical. Let's revise that, and it's due now 5 weeks out. All external communications due. If we're going to be putting out any type of messaging about the new series to anybody, we want external communications due. If we've got a newsletter, if we've got a text message that's going out, we want all that due to where we can have excellence, where we're not putting out something last minute. That's due 5 weeks out. The next week, now we're in what we call the zone, 4 weeks out. All of our graphics requests are due. We're not going to do more graphics and things thrown at it 2 weeks out and go, oh, hey, last minute. No, last minute is considered 4 weeks out. 4 weeks out, all graphics requests are due. Our PCO stuff is ready. Why we say that is because, let's say we decide, you know what, we've got a skit that we want to do, something over here that we want to do. We want to make sure that we have all of our volunteers notified, that we're not throwing something for, hey, what if we have Kathy and Tina do a skit. Well, we don't want to let them know 2 weeks out. No, we want to have them at least a month to be able to prepare for this at minimum. So our video second revisions are also due there. Now it moves over next week. 3 weeks out, we're updating the website with any information about our new series. All bumpers are due in their final form. All media revisions are due before the final edits. Now we move into the next week. At 2 weeks out, all the video and graphics are due. All the playlists are final. We'll update the web. I'll come back to playlists in a minute because that's really cool. We'll update the web and we'll finalize all the announcements. So the announcements that we have for this week, for this Sunday, are going to be finalized 2 weeks out. Now the final week, now that's not this Sunday, that is the Monday before Sunday. Now we're in this week. You notice there's nothing to be done. Why? Because everything is planned 6 weeks ahead. Now I'm going to come back to this. This is kind of interesting. During the week, this board gets filled with a lot of stuff. You'll notice some stuff here that we're planning out. This is me kind of giving our GSM guys some instruction on how to navigate their songs. But one of the things that I'll do is I'll go through and I'll look at themes for the week of the songs that we may be doing. So in this week, for instance, going vertical, it's vertical plan strategy. Or the vertical plan, and that's about strategy. So we may talk about what that is, what some common themes are for that, and I might look at songs and I'll list a whole look. CCLI has a thematic search that you can use, and I'll write them all down on the board and all the songs, and then I'll prepare for what songs will work best for that particular Sunday. All the rest of the songs that are there that may not work for the Sunday, I'll put into a Spotify playlist. I'll move those songs that are in my playlist to a list that will actually play in a pre-service and post-service playlist out in the gathering. So when people come in, they're hearing songs that relate to that particular Sunday. Their minds and hearts are already being prepared before they even hear the first song played by our band. So that's something kind of cool. Well, guys, hopefully that makes sense to you. Hopefully it wasn't too overwhelming. And look, if you've got any questions, I'd love to answer them for you. Send me an email at jason@gotworship.net. And if you've got questions about other things, I'd love to be able to connect with you there as well. Hope that you can get on a better track of being able to plan out your gatherings and get yourself on a 3-week arc, 6-week arc, or even beyond to a 14-week arc. Love you guys. Remember, you're doing what you're called to do. Do it well. You're serving a God and a true King.